Well, in more news tonight, bringing more outdoor recreation to Bakersfield is the goal of a group of community members hoping to add a hiking trail to the Kern Canyon. But the process is a bit harder than you might think. 23 ABC's Vanya Patino spoke with those leading the efforts and brings us the details.
Here at the mouth of the canyon, we're not a long drive away from downtown Bakersfield, and the trail, if approved, would be within the first 15 to 16 miles of the canyon, which is why those who are pushing for this say it would make this outdoor activity much more accessible. But it is going to take some work.
Some small established trails, and a lot of those were for access for like Caltrans or for hydroelectric plants out here, so they weren't really for hiking.
Brennan Dunn is talking about the 6 disconnected trails that are not for public use. So the idea is to flip that entirely by connecting them and making them safe for all. Since these are existing pathways, if approved, the Kern Gateway Trail would have several starting points, each with distances anywhere from 1.5 to 3 miles. In total, it would stretch from near the mouth of the canyon to above the Democrat Dam, which would be about 16 miles. With no trails in that area at the moment, the lower part of the canyon is not accessible, and that is what they want to change.
There's a lot of options if you want to go a little bit further and drive all the way into the canyon and things like that, but having something so close where you can come right to the mouth of the canyon and hike that would be really beneficial for the public.
That's really important for Dunn, a Tehachapi native who loves the outdoors. From rock climbing to rafting down the river, he spent a lot of time at the canyon. But these changes come with challenges.
There's a lot of stakeholders involved here. So there's the U.S. Forest Service has a large portion of land that they own that would be part of this trail. You know, there's stakeholders such as like Caltrans and the hydroelectric plant, as well as some property owners here at the mouth of the canyon that are just worried about, you know, responsible accessibility on the parts of the trail.
So they need to ensure responsible use and safety to get the green light from all these entities, as well as the public's backing to really get the ball rolling. That's why a petition was started as a way to show the public's interest, which is just shy of 1,500 signatures. Now, the anticipated price tag to connect them is anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000, since some trails need to be built and signage, benches, and parking need to be created. Dunn adding that all of this will take time as they're in the early stages of this plan, but saying all the hurdles will be worth it if Kern County can get more ways to get people outside forming healthy habits.
A lot of people in Kern County are not from a background where they grew up hiking or camping or anything like that. So any way we can give them more opportunities to do something with less roadblocks, less barriers, less places to drive, less distance, I think that's really beneficial.
Because the proposed trail does go through private land, the group is adamant that people do not try to hike it as it could hinder their efforts. Instead, they are hosting safe site visits this and next month. And for you to RSVP, you can head to our website, turn223.com. At the mouth of the canyon, Vanya Patino, 23 ABC News, connecting you.